coming here for 43 years, I've seen regulation after regulation come along, thinking, oh boy, here comes somebody else that's going to be watching everything we do.
A lot of people are concerned with what it'll do to certain property rights.
Nobody really knows what to expect. What's this process really going to be about? Can we trust these feds? And is this going to be a good program? And there's a lot of sort of suspicion and feeling out, and rightly so.
Initially, I had some concerns as well, and talked to a lot of people.
One of the reasons I really perked up when I heard about this is I wanted to make sure that this wasn't another layer of bureaucracy that I'd need to deal with for what I do on our farm.
Farmers have concerns about whether or not they can continue to bring their tractor across the river, and snowmobile organizations have talked about whether or not they'll be able to put a bridge across the river in a new location.
It didn't take me very long once I got involved to realize that's not what this is about.
The committee overall, over the 3 years, did a great job of addressing all those concerns and addressing them in the management plan.
This is not about adding more regulation.
I managed the Wild and Scenic Rivers program in New England for the National Park Service. Back in the 50s and 60s was an era of big dam projects. I think some of the folks in Congress felt like there ought to be a complementary way to preserve certain rivers in their free-flowing condition rather than trying to develop them for other purposes. What's happening on the Missisquoi and in other rivers in New England is pretty unique and pretty rare. People coming together to try to protect these rivers through the Wild and Scenic Rivers program without creating a federal river park.
Local people sought through their congressmen to nominate the river as a candidate Wild and Scenic River.
The first test is it a free-flowing river? The second test would be, is there something special about the place? I think, for the Missisquoi, it was pretty apparent that there are some special values to us right away. And really the third test that we take very seriously is community empowerment.
I think there was some concern that, since this is a federal designation, that the government was going to take over control of the development and activity along the river. But since it really included only federal permits, I think people, at the end of the day, saw the utility of the designation, so it passed pretty quickly.
We are an invited guest, and we have to behave that way. We try to place ourselves in a position of supporting the local communities, the local partners, and providing good technical support, good advice, some funding support. We don't have any ability or desire to control or dictate anything.
At the end of the day, there was zero government interference. The river is being preserved and it's being used, and it makes me actually feel good about our government, believe it or not, especially in this day and age.
Sometimes when you live so close to something, you don't really see it. It's there, and you think about it some, but you don't really see it in a way.
The hidden resource that a lot of people just drive over and don't even think about until they see a kayak or a canoe out there and say, wait a second, there's something different out there, and I can take my kids and family out there and enjoy the river.
If you're a landowner that owns land next to the river, I would think that you would be excited about supporting this because it's celebrating something that you already own.
You should take pride in the fact that the center of your town life, the Missisquoi River, is being recognized nationally as a Wild and Scenic River.
Well, the Missisquoi is a very special place, I think.
If the river were not to be protected or were in much worse shape, the value of our house would go down. The value of our life, the quality of our life would go down.
The designation does typically come with some federal funding support to help implement the management strategy.
Money's come back to town for education and Conservation Commission projects.
Potential access points along the river that may be partially paid for by the Wild and Scenic River program.
If it entices someone to come here and spend some of their dollars, there's certainly a value there.
I think people just in their minds say, whatever we did was the right thing because it seems to be working, and people seem to be getting out and enjoy the river.
Looking at the benefits, the pros and cons, and coming up with your own decision as to whether or not that's something you'd like to see.
Most of the issues we talk about at town meeting are going to cost us something.
We're not asking the people at the town meetings for any money whatsoever.
I do think it's an opportunity. In order to be seized and really made something out of by the communities, They've got to see the opportunity as well.
Before the designation, I think the communities were connected via the roads and highways, but after designation, the communities became connected to the river, understanding that the river connects us together. So if you respect the community you live in, the designation is not going to hurt you, and at the end of the day, you're going to benefit your children and grandchildren. So it's definitely something that I would heartily endorse, and it hasn't affected the operation of Sudbury government in any manner.